Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a Neuvillette listener by me. So let's get into it. Neuvillette was someone who could be described as a stickler for the rules. You knew that, and him being the judge of Fontaine made that very obvious. It was truly admirable how he even held himself to the high standards. But it also meant some aspects of your relationship were a little bit harder than they needed to be. For example, you did not need to get a written slip to do some specific things, especially when you just had his agreement. But instead, he would make you go through all of the procedures just to get that paper, and then you could do whatever you wanted. It was truly endearing, even if exhausting at times. You admired him and how he always made sure that everything was fair as it needed to be. But that also meant that he would be overworking himself. Trying to deliver such a hard and difficult, impossible thing was not easy by any means, and you knew that. You knew very well it would not be easy on him. So, you could only wonder just how far he could keep pushing himself without rest. And apparently, you were getting your answer. Because he hadn't taken a break for a couple of centuries, to say the least. And after all these events, and Farina abdicating, or rather being forced to do so, as she no longer was the Archon, there were some things that needed to be done. A lot of things, on his part, which meant that he was extra stressed and working extra hard, and you were seeing him less and less, and even the Melusines were concerned. So after talking to one of them, and then persuading you to go and talk to him and tell him to rest a little bit, you found yourself outside the palais, and deciding to go inside, you were met by one of the Melusines, who smiled at you. "Should I go and tell Monsieur Neuvillette that you're waiting?" "No, thank you. He doesn't need to be told. It's a bit of a surprise." The Melusine chuckled, nodding. "Well, I'll free up his schedule then. Have fun," she said, waving at you innocently. They were truly the best creatures you've ever seen. Innocent and pure and very friendly, much like their self-proclaimed father inside. And so you opened the door to his office and welcomed yourself, smiling. "Neuvy, did you miss me?" Yes, darling, I did. It is rather unexpected, though. I did not think that you were scheduled to meet me today, and none of the Melusines informed me of your visit. Is there something wrong?" "Does there have to be something for me to see my wonderful, amazing partner?" He shook his head, blushing a little bit, and you found your smile widening. "So there, you've got your answer. There's nothing wrong, Neuvillette. Except, maybe, there is a tiny little thing." "And what could that be? Please, tell me what it is. I'll do my best to help." "It's you, darling. You don't seem very well. You look exhausted and sick." "Me? Sick? I'm quite sure I'm not. But you're worrying too much. However, There's no however, and no buts, and no anything else. You're going to rest for an hour now. There's already no one coming in for a while." "And how do you know that? I have 4 meetings scheduled today. I'm sure there's no time for that." "I made time for it, and those meetings have been rescheduled, so don't worry about it." He looked a little bit conflicted, but with that determination in your eyes, he knew there was no discussing it. You would get what you wanted, and you would just have to nod and say yes. And that was exactly what he was going to do. He nodded and sat down, and apparently, you just knew what to do after that. You sat on his desk, faced right from his chair, and looked at him, holding his hands. Looks like my Chief Justice needs some attention. You said teasingly, and he blushed, looking away. I don't understand what you mean. Perhaps I'm a bit confused, but Why on? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, you're adorable. Come on. Could you just let me give you a kiss? Just one? He nodded. He was blushing too much to talk, and he felt so flustered, like there were many emotions, and he just could not put anything into words. His face was so red it was almost funny. Maybe it would be, but you've gotten too used to it. But you can't imagine anyone taking him seriously after seeing him like this. And that's why this meeting must stay an absolute secret. So as you cupped his face in your hands, you leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to his lips. And eventually, you deepened it. The two of you forgetting everything in this little space of yours, like nothing else mattered. It was not the ideal picture of rest. Perhaps not physically, but mentally, it was enough to wash away almost every trouble on his mind. And when he pulled away, he was still blushing, and he wrapped his arms around you to pull you into his lap. The two of you holding each other tightly as you rested against him. Come on. I think that's a little bit of an encouragement. Now close your eyes and rest. I'll be staying here. Are you sure? I'm very sure, Neuvy. Come on, rest. And if you want, I could always find some encouragement to give you whenever you decide to rest. If you need some motivation. He blushed at your words and nodded, closing his eyes as you said. Maybe he was a little bit amenable to rest, especially if paired with such encouragement from you.